Morning and welcome to Daily Timothy Time. My name is Carl Coates and it's a privilege, pleasure and an absolute joy to be with you once again with an open King James Bible today, Monday the 12th of May 2025. Folks, we're in 1 Corinthians. We're starting a new chapter today, chapter 7. And I will say this, chapter 7 out in Christendom gets knocked around a little bit. For the most part, I don't personally think it's understood enough by way of exegesis, good exegesis. So as we read through this chapter and we give light commentary as we go through it, I trust it'll be of some help to you. If you want further explanations on the album cover, there is an email address. Email this ministry, we'll get back to you ASAP. Let's get a reading. Now, concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. That's those 5 verses there, folks. There's a lot going on in those verses. Just to start with, let's give some. Let me just run some light commentary here for you. Where do we even start here? Draw your eye back up to verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication. The first thing I want to just bring up for you today, and for you to be mindful. When Paul speaks of fornication, this is not the first time he's spoken about it. He's spoken about it in the previous chapter and the chapter before that. And going all the way back to that foundational book of Romans, in Romans chapter 1, right toward the end of the chapter, if you go to verse 29, Paul says this, and this is going back to the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11. This is when God gave them over. When I say they, mankind, the Gentiles, and he called out Abraham. So in Romans 1:29, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication. That's the second thing Paul brings up. So it is a major issue. So back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, Paul does bring this up, to avoid fornication. Well, how do you do that, Paul? Here it says here, let every man have his own wife. Singular, his own wife, singular. Not plural, it's singular. And it's your own wife, not your mate's wife, not your mate's mate's wife. It's your own wife. So if you're into that business, cut that nonsense out. The Apostle Paul, if you're a heathen and you're unsaved, well, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. But if you're listening to me now and you've trusted in the all-sufficient payment of Jesus Christ on Calvary's cross, in his shedding of his blood, his death, his burial, and his resurrection, if you've trusted and rest and rely exclusively on that, and you're playing games like that, gentle listener, you need to cut it out immediately, if not sooner. And then his own wife, and it's the same with the woman. Let the woman have her own husband. You know, when Paul's speaking to the Corinthians here, he's not having a grand old time. He's laying into these folks, and these guys are saved people. Anyway, that's something to think about for today. What else was there? I'll leave it there for today. That's quite a bit. That could be quite challenging for a few folks listening. Folks, if you've enjoyed today's message, share it on your socials. Let's get God's word out there. And if you're looking to study this book out, 1 Corinthians specifically, go along to shorewoodbiblechurch.org, or another one is butnow.org, or helpersofyourjoy.com. Go check those websites out. You will find teachings on 1 Corinthians there. And I say to you, go check it out. Anyway, wherever you are around the world, remember to keep your sword sharp, soldier. Till we meet again tomorrow, if the Lord tarries, grace and peace to you. Maranatha.